Hello, this is Roger, Low Vision Product Manager here at HumanWare. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate for you the basics of the AI Assistant application. This is a strictly AI chat and response tool that you can use to gain information about topics across the spectrum. So as you can see, I'm logged into my Prodigi software here, and currently the focus is at the top of the screen in my header where the date, time, and so forth are shown. I'm going to use my keyboard to tab to the AI assistant icon and then click on the enter key to access the application. Now, bear in mind, in a touchscreen environment, I could have simply tapped on the icon, or I can use a mouse to point and click on the icon as well. We're now inside the Prodigi Assistant application, and you can see that I can start a new chat or revisit some chat history. Before we do either of these, let me say something about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a fantastic tool. It can help with topics across the spectrum in which you may have an interest. However, it must be kept in mind that it is not always perfect. So if you're asking questions that are highly technical in nature, and especially in the case of medical or legal type of questions, you'll always want to make sure that you verify any responses that you get for accuracy. Think of it as a trusted colleague that you can ask questions of, but there are times when you're going to have to double check to make sure that everything aligns with what you expect and what is the actual correct answer. So with that having been said, let's take a look at how it works. Again, we're in the application now, and I'm going to click on New Chat, start a new chat for us today. As you can see, it opens up into a blank screen with a dialog box at the bottom where I can type in a question. Let's start with something simple that I'll type. What is the weather like in Montreal today? To the right, you'll see my submit button. That's the little paper airplane icon that is consistent throughout Prodigi, has appeared and turned black. Let's click that. You'll see the question at the top. To the left, you'll see three dots that are cycling, and the response will return back to us. You'll notice that our interface has updated, and we have the response there and a toolbar at the bottom. To the bottom left corner is a back button that will return us to our chat application where we can start another new chat or revisit our history. To the right are 5 icons. The first, and I'll move my locator to it, is a gear wheel, and this includes our settings for our chat. We'll come back to that in just a moment. To the right of that is the AI Assistant callout button with 3 stars inside of it. This is the AI Assistant button. If I tap that now, it will allow me to ask another question. But before we do that, let's take a look at what we can do with the response we've already received. I'll move the locator one more to the right there, and you'll see a right-facing triangle. This is the play pause toggle button. When I click on this, whatever's on the screen, depending upon my settings, will be read back to me. Let's try it out. I'm clicking with my mouse now on the triangle.
As of 10:15 a.m. on Friday, January 9th, 2026, in Montreal, Quebec, the weather is mostly cloudy with a temperature of 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius.
I'll click the little notch that appeared in the bottom center there. You'll notice that during reading, my toolbar slid to the bottom. That is a setting that you can set in your user interface, which is in another video, so that the toolbar is not always present. But you'll notice that when I clicked onto the triangle there, it immediately began reading back to me. And this is based upon the settings that I have that we can have things read aloud using my system voice. To the right of this are some visual tools. There is a minus button and a plus button. My locator is on the minus button, which I'll click on with my mouse now, and you'll see that it's making my text smaller. I'll now move my mouse to the plus sign to the right, and you'll see that my text is increasing, and I've got it back to a standard size here. So you can use those to adjust the font size on the fly. Up above, you can use your mouse or gestures to scroll wheel to the top to see what your question was. What is the weather like in Montreal today? And below to see the responses that you've returned back. In a touchscreen, you would just swipe up and down with a finger on the screen. So that is a simple question that we asked of the AI, and we've received back a pretty detailed response about the weather today. So I see this term intermittent clouds here. Maybe I want to have a better understanding of what that means. Let's take a look back at how we can move on with this. Coming back to our AI assistant icon, I'll click on it again now and you'll see the interface update again. So now here we are back with our text entry dialog, but I'm going to this time use this little microphone tool that's to the left of the entry box. When I click on that, I'm going to be prompted to provide a voice entry, and I'm going to ask about intermittent clouds. I'll click it now. I'm being asked to allow access to the microphone. When this happens, I'll say yes. What does intermittent clouds mean? So while I was asking my question, you saw some dash marks vertical that were floating, and my microphone had turned to a black square. After I finished speaking, I clicked on that black square and my voice was translated into text that you see here. What does intermittent clouds mean? And you can see it did a really nice job of that. So that appears to be the question I wanted. I could always select and backspace over that and type another question if I want, or just click the microphone, it'll erase it and you can record over it again. You can record up to a 30-second question, which would be an intensely long question. Probably not going to do that very often. To the right, my submit button. Let's submit this. Here again, what does intermittent clouds mean? And now we have a response to that. So before I go into the settings that are available to you, let me show you something here. Maybe I'm reading visually and scrolling along, and then I decide I want to start reading on this sentence that starts with the word this. Another means of starting is a 1-second finger press and hold and release, or a mouse click and hold for 1 second and release. So I'm going to do that with my mouse right now, 1 second.
This means that while clouds are present, they don't form a continuous layer, allowing for periods of clear sky in between. The term intermittent indicates that these clouds are not constant, but occur sporadically.
And I will pause my reading right there. Remember, you have keyboard shortcuts to accomplish these tasks as well. So those are the basics of how to use it, and you can continue on at this point asking questions about the weather or whatever you would like for today in this particular chat conversation. To the left of those 5 icons in the bottom right corner is the gear wheel, which I'll explore a little bit right now by clicking on it. So you can see that I have the ability to start a new chat. I'm not going to do that right now because you'll see that in just a few moments. I can revisit my chat history, which we'll take a look at in a moment. I can adjust my speech settings, and there are multiple speech settings, and these are all covered in other videos, so I'm not going to go through them individually right now, but you can change your speech settings. Mine is currently set to documents only. You can change your reading voice, you can change your reading rate. And then you can also change your font size and your font type at the bottom. So I just encourage you to play with those and find the settings that work for you. All of those are covered in other videos, so I'm not going to revisit those in this particular video. But I just wanted to highlight what's available to you there. So let's hit the back arrow in the upper left corner and exit back out to our chat. And let's say we're done with this particular chat for today. I will go to the bottom left corner and hit the back arrow, and I'm going to be asked, would you like to save your chat? Let's say yes for this one. And it's automatically saved, and we exit out of the AI assistant. Now, when we return to the AI assistant next time, we can go start another new chat, which you've already seen. And if I hit this during my settings, it would have started a new chat and asked me if I wanted to save the old chat. I didn't really see the need to demonstrate that right now, but you can certainly try that out for yourself. However, at this point, we now have a chat history that we can revisit. So let's click on chat history. And here at the top, you can see the chat that we just completed. That was today, January 9th, 2026 at about 10:22 in the morning. So I can open up that chat and continue it on. I can right click on any chat in here and I can copy the name of it. I can delete it, and I can rename it. So let's just call this one so we know what it is from going forward, Montreal weather, and I'll just put January 9. I'll hit that submit button in the upper right, looks like an airplane, and you'll see that we've changed the name of our chat so we know what it is the next time we come back to revisit it. Below, you can see some pre-existing. You can see that I've been hungry recently, so let's open this chat called Poutine. It will open up. Here's the last question that I had asked. I can scroll up and down through the history. So what is poutine? There's my response. I can, of course, read this. At the bottom, you can see where I can enter additional questions about this. So if I wanted to read about this right now, I could just hit the back button and I'll get my reading toolbar. Typically, the first thing you'll want to do is ask some questions. So it's set to ask a question immediately, but you can hit that back button. It will open your reading toolbar, which we've already covered. Once you've reviewed what you've already submitted and asked about, you can hit the AI icon. It's the 3 stars inside the callout again. It will reopen and you can begin to ask additional questions about your chat history. So that is a quick review of the AI Assistant tool. We ask that you visit the help application and click on this feedback link to tell us how we're doing. We'd love to hear your thoughts about where we should proceed with artificial intelligence in the future, as well as any other functionalities within Prodigi for Windows, or really anything at all that we do here at HumanWare. So feel free to use that. You can also find a link to provide feedback in the description of this video in YouTube. Thanks for watching.